Hello and welcome to the Glasgow PT Podcast /show. It's episode 74 and it's the coach's hot seat this time. We have the lovely Cheryl joining us today to share her story. You guys over on Instagram have asked her a ton of questions, so I'm going to ask them for you. Everything from how she gave up her normal job, what makes her tick as a PT and coach, and everything in between. So sit back, enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe and share. Young Cheryl.
Old Chris.
How are you? Are you nervous?
I'm not nervous at all, no. I feel like I'm a pro. This is my third time, isn't it? So
Third time?
it is the third time. The first time, I don't know, I think it was too good and you just didn't want to share it, but apparently got lost in it.
I actually got lost. It was annoying.
So no nervous at all.
I did get lost, which I was raging about, if you remember. It got recorded somewhere else.
It was such a good podcast as well, though, wasn't it?
Very good
Produced
podcast. It got filmed in a place that I'll no mention. But this is why we're now getting our post-production stuff sorted by Rebel City Glasgow, which is a lot better. So yeah, Cheryl, this is, I think we've got about maybe 15, 20 questions. There might be some duplicates in there, but today is all about you.
Aye, but don't call me Cheryl again because it sounds like I'm getting into trouble. You never call me Cheryl, so
Unless you're
don't
getting in
start
trouble.
now. Aye.
What do I call you then, Shez?
What do you usually call me? Yeah, actually
Babe.
don't. Aye, but that's quite weird, isn't it?
in public? Aye.
To say Shez.
Right. So we're going to ask you questions that people... I'm actually going to call you out here because this was on the 9th of October. These people asked you these questions.
This is a bit of a joke, to be fair. But do you know what I'm going to blame that on? Just being...
Busy.
I've been busy and feeling... I'll say shit a lot about my back at the time, mind.
Yes.
So I wasn't in the right kind of mindset.
No, I know.
So I'll blame it on that, but it is ridiculous. I was asked these questions a long time ago, but also probably a bit nervous as well.
Aye, that's
to be in
it.
front of the
I
camera.
think to be fair to you, we did try and answer them.
I did try, aye.
You had that phone gate, remember? Every time, and I got this the first time I started trying to record myself, and I used to blame everything else.
Aye.
So when you start talking to the camera for business and stuff, you're obviously anxious, you're nervous or whatever. And I used to do it in Pure Gym and I used to hear people walking by. They're not even doing any harm, they're just walking by outside and I used to blame it on them as if they were taking me out of my vibe. And then some people watching this might remember me videoing Cheryl while she was trying to date and she kept swearing and stuff. So in her defence, yep, she got a back injury and she did try and answer these questions. So it's just questions that Cheryl's put up on her sticker and her story and people have asked. And it's just to probably get to know you a bit better and all that stuff.
That was it. I just put up a question saying I'm a new PT, like kind of to the game in Glasgow or whatever. People know me a lot through you, I feel.
Yep.
They don't know me a lot through you, but they know of me, but they don't really know where I've came from or why I became a PT. So I put up a question just asking people to ask me stuff that they wanted to know. It was all kind of fitness related, to be fair. So that's most of the questions really, is to do with why I became a PT and stuff. So
aye, it's interesting because there's a couple in there that are personal and then there's other ones that I think it has just people have just saw your journey for doing the job you're doing to now where you are just now.
Yep.
So that's what the questions kind of go on. And we might, like I say, guys, we might duplicate or whatever, but we'll skim over it if that's the case. So let's get cracking.
let's go.
A very personal question. Can you still do the splits? Lol, I'm joking, don't share this.
I forgot that was there actually.
Can you?
Absolutely. I'm not going to do it now though. No warmed up.
No.
No stretched. The last time I tried, I could still do them, but I was sore for a
back.
few days afterwards.
And your
No, I
back
won't
as
blame
well.
that in my back.
No.
I could still do them. No, I'll blame it on my back.
Aye, same man.
Could still do them, aye.
Aye, same. What did or do you struggle with food-wise?
What did or do I struggle with food-wise? If I mean a certain type of food,
No, so that's it's quite a broad question when you
Aye, it is
read into
broad.
it too much, but I think this person's just, what did or do you struggle with food-wise?
aye.
I think it's probably just, I wouldn't read between the lines here, I would just say, what do you struggle with? Is it overeating? Is it...
Hitting calories, that sort of stuff. Aye. So I was going to say if it's a certain type of food, then nothing. You know, I'm a pure organic, so
Yeah.
don't struggle with that. It's strange. When I first started my fitness journey, I really didn't struggle much. I struggled when my calories were increased, not because I found that difficult to deal with the fact that I was eating more food, because I loved that. It was more hitting targets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I quickly got into that, and I grew to love it because it was just all I done. I was obviously tracking food for a while and then became really good at it, so I stopped tracking, so I got quite good at eyeballing it and stuff. And then obviously, as you'll know, recently I went back to tracking food again because I just feel like I want to tidy things up a bit, and I've actually found it difficult getting back into it. But generally speaking, probably I just keep him within my calories. Honestly,
it's quite hard to answer that question in a world where it's different now. It is different. Do you know what I mean?
It's just difficult because I think PTs they'll stop tracking their food unless they're seriously dieting or they're kind of bulking or whatever, and they're trying to take it really serious. But if you're not in any mad dieting phase or muscle gaining phase and you're just kind of maintenance, we quite like to think that we're just good at eyeballing food, when in actual fact we go back to tracking it and we realise how much we've been overeating.
Aye.
I think that's just speaking for myself, but yeah, I've only this week started tracking food again. It's been hard. It's been hard. So I actually take my hat off to like all the clients that do it and do it well, because I've struggled with it.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's different parts of that there. Like, experience allows you to be objective.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you trained with me for a period of time and then you're now coaching clients, like how many times have we made meal plan options or databases where we're putting in similar food sources?
Yep.
So for example, if I need to type in 50 gram of oats again, I might kill myself.
Yep.
But it allows me to know exactly what's in food. So you're right, with eyeballing does become something that gets out of hand. It does. But we objectively know that if things are starting to get a bit fluffy, if our energy levels are low, if our lifts are suffering, then we know when to rein it in. Mm-hmm. People don't, because they're not experienced enough. So there's a difference. Do you know what I mean? There's a difference between, like you said, you can't say a PT because not every PT is like that. But, and I've said this before about tracking your food, if you track consistently enough over a long period of time, you eventually don't need to track as rigorously. Mm-hmm. And tracking gets a bad name. There's nothing wrong with tracking your food. Like, it gets obsessive when you're in ASDA scanning stuff. It's like, I'd rather be in scanning my dinner for the night to make sure it fits within my goals than just grabbing fucking big share packs of stuff and then facing the consequences the next day.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think you're right. Most recently you've struggled with the change of no tracking back to it again. Mm-hmm. But as you mentioned yesterday, it's actually more enjoyable. It actually gives you a bit more to think about. Mm-hmm, definitely. Because like you say, we're PTs, so we do think we can get away with it and we justify things, don't we? We're always like, I know, but I need to get more protein in, man.
Aye, done a big leg session yesterday.
Done a kebab, like, I need to get protein in.
I deserve this. Aye, definitely. But no, I've actually enjoyed getting back to it.
Aye, but it's the habit thing. Day one you didn't, day two you never. Mm-hmm. So everybody's the same. When we change a habit, we don't like it. And then we start. Bit of structure. Aye, that's it. Good. And then what's going to happen in 2-3 weeks' time if she sticks to it, the first ever benefits she got from a dieting phase will show again. The energy levels, the strength. Because even when you go on a diet or you tidy your food up, it translates into your training. You know, if you eat a big fry up and go and try and train, chances are you're going to probably be sluggish with your training. So it's a good question. Next one. How was it packing in the old job and going into what you wanted to do? PS, smashing it. So this is a common theme, this question, so we'll proper dig deep into this one. Yeah. So how was it from packing in the old job and then going into what you wanted to do? Can you try and remember the feelings that you had for the day you done it?
Incredible. I still have that feeling when I think about leaving that job and coming to work here. Being a PT, absolutely incredible. It's literally like all your stress just goes away. Like this big weight in your shoulders, even though you shouldn't really feel that in a job, but a lot of people do. I definitely did, and probably tried to hide that a lot because I was in it and I didn't know the way out. And then when the day we made the decision for me to do my PT, I kind of describe, I think the day I held my notice in, that was definitely, people obviously know that feeling, hand your notice into a job you don't like. There's nothing else like it, especially then going to doing something that you are so passionate about and that you absolutely love. So I still have that feeling. I'm still so grateful for what we've built or what you have previously built, and then I've been able to just kind of like come on board to that. I still wake up grateful for that every day. Was there like any element of doubt when you started doing it? Did you? Because obviously you've been in jobs you've hated in the past, so far, multiple. And there's people listening to this that are the same. They're in that job they know. That's probably why this person asked this question, because they maybe want to go and pursue something, and they're doing a job right now they don't like. And I think that's probably true across the board. And COVID has actually brought that to people's attention. Mm-hmm. Like people have actually
prospered and went and done new things during this. People have obviously struggled, and it's a very strange world to be in the now, where people are struggling and people are thriving. But the person asking this is probably in a position where they saw you. I mean, let's face it, the previous job you had a couple of jobs ago was the typical job that everybody hates. You actually dread, you go in late, you argue with your boss, you pull sick days. And then you found a job in town next to the gym and decent pay. They allowed you to work from home a couple of days a week and stuff like that. And arguably sometimes an all right job is harder to get away from because it's comfort zone and it's... But did you find yourself justifying that job for a period of time?
I would say...
oh no, it's decent and you come up from home and...
100%. Probably to you a lot as well. I think what had happened is your business started, especially through lockdown.
First one, yep.
The first lockdown, it just grew massively. You were already your name was quite well known in the industry and it just boomed. It absolutely just got massive, but like in the space of a couple of weeks it seemed. So you were absolutely thriving, loving it. My job I was starting to hate. So I definitely just brushed over the fact that it was an okay job, more so because I was lying to myself that I actually enjoyed it. And it's because I didn't know another way. We hadn't spoke about us being in a business together. We hadn't even spoken about me being a PT ever. So it was more hiding the fact that I actually really didn't enjoy my job, and I pretend that I did because I didn't know what else was I going to do. I have no massive qualifications for uni, didn't even go to college, anything like that. Left school and just went from job to job to job and hated every single one of them. And you get to an age, I'm 29, I was 27 when I started that job, and you think, what else can I do? I literally don't know another way. Aye. I'm just going to leave here and go to another job that's probably going to be similar. So that job, like you said, had they called it a luxury from being able to work from home twice a week, where they were still on your arse and phoning you every day to make sure you weren't skiving. But you think to yourself, this is it. I'd already went from being an admin to being in a higher job role, with a bit more pay, and that was it. Where else do you go from there? That was literally the cap. So you get to a point and you think, this is all the money I'm going to make. It's basic. That is what it is. But the most important thing is that I don't enjoy it. I don't wake up every day and go, right, I'm going to smash this day to day. I'm going to get sales. I'm going to get this commission. You just don't. I started to do everything that I could just to avoid taking calls to clients and all that. It was not just so unenjoyable. So I had that. I think I had that quite well. And tried my best to be good at it as well. And I started to be all right at it. But it would never be more than that because I didn't like it. So you're never going to be good at something you don't like. Aye. You just won't. You don't put that effort in.
No, I know. And I think anybody listening to this has probably been in a job where they felt that, and then the next thing they know, it's 5 years later, and they've done it for 5 years, that job. There. 2 jobs I've done that for, and I know a lot of people have done that. So I think the thing we can take for this is, one, I think your environment helped. I think when you used to run out the door at 4 o'clock and come into a gym environment where you found a passion, which helped. Now, I'm not saying that you have to, whatever your passion is, you have to go and get a job in that. I'm just saying that you can see how your environment helped that. You know, you were in work and there's a couple of people in your work you liked and stuff, but if you only had that, you had a better job than you did previously. So it was so then you start telling yourself, no, this is settled. I can leave at 4 o'clock. I can work from home 1 or 2 days a week. Yes, there's a cap on my wages and stuff, but you can almost just tell yourself, and there's probably a lot of people listening to this, that because if your environment is what it is, and if you're happy and content there, or you're telling yourself that, then you won't go any further. And without trying to offer career advice, we'll say that to people who are qualified and stuff, but how many people do we speak to that, especially clients as well, over time, that, oh, I hate my job. And I'm just in a position now where I don't want people to think I'm on my high horse because I love my job or whatever. And I'm trying to say, just do that, just do this. But I see it time and time again that people who want to do something about it, for example, if you're in the corporate industry and you want to do something about it and I don't know what you're waiting on, don't know who you're waiting on, you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you don't put your ear at the ground, you don't speak to the right people, what do you expect? Genuinely, what do you expect? Aye.
It's taking a leap. I think you made a good point there about me going from a job before that was even worse to that job where you should almost be grateful because it's better.
Yep.
So you think that that's all you deserve. And then, I used to get all the time in the gym, why don't you just do your PT course? You've been an amazing PT. I used to get that for years, and see if I'd have done it at the time, that I actually thought I should have done it at the time as well, but you're just kind of like, nah, surely it won't be me, I couldn't do that. But secretly you're like, I actually do want to do it, but you don't make that jump. That's why you just kind of, you just put up with what you've got. And it's almost like a bit of disbelief in yourself, and it's...
Minimise yourself.
I absolutely, you 100% do. And then it's not until you're actually sitting you just wake up one day and you just literally think to yourself, is this it? Like, that sounds as if I was in a god-awful job and the pay was rubbish and the people were horrible. It was an all right job, it just wasn't for me. But still, I always thought I was destined for something better. And the years were going by, like 26, 27, 28, and I was like, really? Like, is this actually going to be it? And then obviously, like, you were doing amazing with the business and PT and stuff, and you almost make excuses and go, I know, but he's been doing that for years, so that's just it is what it is. Like, you've kind of got to an age now that you just need to put up with what you've got. But
that's a big thing I wanted to touch on, because let's be honest, I mean, you're now talking about it like it was a good thing, and it was an amazing thing that happened. But I did remember one of the biggest worries you had was your age. You said to yourself that, no, I'm 27, 28, I can't just do my PT course. When realistically, I'd done mine when I was 25. So I think that's one of the biggest factors when it comes to people taking that leap of faith as their age. I think they go, no, I can't. It's usually age, it's usually commitments they've already got, like kids, bills, is the reason they don't take that step. But age is the big one. Like you were quite nervous about it.
Definitely. It's that whole thing of feeling like you should have accomplished so many things by a certain age, and I genuinely don't even think like that. I'm 29. I don't think I need to have kids before I'm 30. I need to be engaged and married before, well, talk about that another day, but you don't think, I don't think like that. I genuinely don't. But the whole thing of starting a new career a wee bit older, definitely, that 100% scared me. It really did, because I thought, right, I've changed career at this age, but how long is it going to take me to build that up? Obviously things changed and for the better with the business and stuff, but it's a massive worry. But I've never ever looked back.
No.
I can't explain the feeling of waking up every day and actually being excited and just want to be in this gym every single day with clients.
Yep. I think just to finish that wee part is the most basic advice ever, and it'll go in some people's ear and out the other. But when I say to Cheryl, I always like to paint the worst case scenario with a topic or anything that I'm doing. And then if it's, for me, my worst case scenario is just something won't work, but it won't be me giving it 100%. So for you, the type of job you already had people headhunting you to work for other companies. So the worst case scenario for you was you do your course, okay, you're a couple of grand down. You do your course, you don't like it. You start PT and you don't like it. You could go back to the same wage on another company. And for a lot of people listening, that's the same. It's the same thing. If you work, and I'm just going to use companies because this will make more sense. But if you work for Sainsbury's and you got to start your own business because you see a gap in the market, or you've got a contact that you can go and work with and be self-employed, it's a big gamble. If it doesn't work out, you could go and be a manager in Tesco, and that's worst case scenario. What's the other worst case? You're not going to be on a place. You've still got skills for another job. So people are going to be listening to this and watching this and going, it's all right you saying that. Cheryl had Chris to just draft in, and I remember saying to you, look, worst case scenario, you would just PT both of us, full scale, 100%, a one-to-one, and just make money and then see what happens for there. But that was fortunately what never happened. So a lot of people might think, oh, do you know what, I'm thinking about being a PT, but Cheryl could just draft into Chris. Let's be honest, guys, like Cheryl had a full-scale wage from our employer. The business was booming, but to take another member of staff on, it's a big, big burden, especially in the household, especially when it was all on me in a sense, because Cheryl's just starting out, so she had to have an adjustment period. So taking on a wage that in a personal trainer's business was tough as well. So
also try to save for a house and
all that, and I know like whatever it is, but so that was a big thing. But I knew the asset that Cheryl would bring to the company, and I also know her strengths. Like a lot of you are sitting here in jobs that your strengths and like they aren't even getting shown. Like how many people do you see in these comfortable jobs who are passionate, they could really do stuff in other industries, but they've just, like you said, they've minimalised themselves instead of just showcasing their abilities.
Absolutely.
So if you're watching and hate your job, do something about it. Like things like LinkedIn and stuff like that. I don't even use LinkedIn, but I know how powerful that is. And you don't even have a LinkedIn profile. Maybe I sort that.
What I will say though is that this wasn't always a plan, but there is a question to ask that, so I'll keep that for then.
Would love to know how you got into fitness, and realised that it was what you wanted to do.
How I got into fitness, I could talk a lot about this, but I'll just briefly give a quick rundown of how I got into the gym and weightlifting and stuff. I was in a really bad relationship, like almost 10 years long, on and off. He had started going to the gym, training with a personal trainer, so I thought, relationship's shite, if I start going as well, it might make it better. And really that was it. I contacted you for PT, started training with you, and my life changed in it for the better.
It did, Ted. It really
so that's
did.
how I got into fitness, through a bad relationship. So one good thing about that.
Aye.
And what was the second part of that?
And realised that it was what you wanted to do.
I didn't realise it was what I wanted to do until we had that conversation. So I'd been training for a good few years before that was a kind of like topic of conversation of me doing that. So I always loved it, so passionate about it, but I didn't realise I wanted to do that until we spoke about it.
I think one of the things that before you did that and you did your current job, Cheryl used to see how much I worked and see how excited I got with client results and growing the business and stuff. And I think it took a wee while for you to get that, didn't it? Until you were on board.
Oh, aye,
you
100%.
You never knew the extent of it.
No, definitely not. I still don't think people get that. There's so much work that goes. It's not just training someone in the gym. So much more than that. And even though I trained in the gym with you, like I still didn't realise the amount of work you'd done behind the scenes, because you do your work, but I wouldn't sit and watch you. I didn't realise the amount of details that goes into stuff. So definitely did not know how like hard work it can be, but obviously rewarding as well.
Aye.
So no, definitely not.
I think that's why it's important that you need the skill sets. Like everybody wants to become a PT, but you need the skill sets, which is what you had, which is why I said to you. And there's certain skills that I was lacking that you had as well, which benefited for it.
Like grammar, organisation,
things like that, housekeeping. What's your opinion on fad diets? Very broad question, but I think the fact that somebody's asking this, they already know the answer.
Aye,
because there's an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Well, there's no opinion on energy balance.
I'll just make it
just facts.
I'll make it a brief answer. That they don't work. They work for a certain period of time, and then it just reverts back to what you've done before. It's just I've never given it much thought or conversation, because we know they don't work.
I don't really like covering them either because I'm bored.
Aye.
We did the Slimming World stuff, but they're not a fad diet. But fad. Fuck all diet. Fuck all diet. Nah, fuck
all diet. That was a good one. Did you just make that on the spot? No.
Don't copy me.
You've looked at these questions and thought,
swear to God. Right, what are you most proud of?
Where we're at just now. Never in a million years would I have thought this time 5 years ago that I'd be where I am just now. Obviously I'm proud of me and you for what we've got, but I'm proud of kind of getting like a kick up the arse really and making my life better.
Mm-hmm. And the position you're in?
Aye, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Who's your biggest inspiration?
Honestly, I don't like giving you compliments, do you? Yeah.
No, you don't.
Of course, it is you though. You know
but
that.
I will get Paul to blow this up and put it in London, Times Square, everywhere. Don't care how much I need to pay for it.
Let me change my answer. Right? No, it is. This sounds very cheesy, doesn't it? But it is you, because we definitely strive for the same stuff.
Yep.
We think very similar, don't we? Like we agree on a lot of stuff. We've got the same vision. But you've obviously been doing this a lot longer than me. So the hard work and stuff that you put in, like I see that every day. You're much more business savvy than me, because like I say, you've been doing it a lot longer and stuff, but your drive and how you just have a goal and you get it every time. Every time.
Appreciate that.
So there you go.
It's a good place to be.
That's it for 2021, right? That's all you're getting.
How did you and Chris meet?
Do you want to tell a story or shall I? No. School. We went to school, didn't we?
We went to school together. And then a couple of years in between, stuff happened. And then now we're here. I went to school. Cheryl was 2 years below me.
Aye, 2 years, aye.
2 years. And that's it, really. She's just a young cheerleader. So used to kick a bit.
We knew each other in school, but we never ever went out in school or anything.
No.
We were just really good pals, weren't we?
I was too old for you.
You're still too old for me.
I was a famous football player.
You're in your 30s. Met in school, really good pals, left school, didn't keep in contact at all until I messaged you for PT. We kept in contact a wee bit. We've seen each other at random parties and stuff,
didn't we? Right on each other's Facebook wall.
We used to write, we used to always write happy birthday with a wee wink face. There was always
see
something there.
See when you look at Facebook memories, right, and you see the statuses, you used to have full-blown conversations with people in the comments section. Like, MD out tonight, me, you, and then it would just keep going. I'm had thread of conversations. You know, that doesn't happen.
I know.
But we used to say happy birthday to each other.
Aye.
With a wee wink face and all that. I don't know how we got away with it.
I know.
Because obviously separate boyfriends, girlfriends, basically. It was hidden in plain sight. It's a two-part question, I think. So I think you know the two-part, didn't you? What are your goals going forward? Business, physique, life.
This isn't the two-parter.
No, but this is just a question. It was
right. Okay. What's my goals going forward? So, business. So this is the gym's still very new, isn't it? We've only had it open properly. Well, I say open. It's been open, close, but it's only been up and running since September. So still a lot to go on here, but expansion maybe in the works at some point. Grow the online business, grow my knowledge as well. Definitely want to learn a lot more. So this gym isn't really the end for us. Still a lot to go there, but that's a conversation for another day. I think we used to talk a wee bit about that, haven't we? Physique. I'm just about to start another muscle gaining phase. Excited about that. Not been training for a while because of a back injury, but I won't bore people with that, so I'm sure everybody knows. Recovering from a back injury, starting a muscle gaining phase, hopefully soon. Just to train harder. I'm actually kind of past how I look. I know that sounds strange, but I used to be obsessed with I want my shoulders bigger, I want bigger glutes, but I've kind of got to the stage I'm quite happy with my body. I just want to feel a bit better. So no mad goals, just go through a kind of wee muscle gain phase just to build up what I kind of lost through not being able to train.
But you aren't big fucking quads and big shoulders.
I just said I don't care about that, but alright, okay, I'm lying. No, I don't care as much as I used to.
Aye.
But of course.
But it's because injuries give you a bit of a reality check that...
and the injury gave me a reality check of how if you don't train...
and performance is more important.
But also if you don't train for a couple of months, how quickly you fucking lose it. Yep. So you're going to get to an age, you're going to lose it anyway. So what's the point? No, I'm kidding on. But no, of course, massive fucking quads, massive glutes, massive shoulders, massive biceps. Lats would be nice as well.
Aye, but just no bigger than me. If you could we cover business and life, didn't we? Life goals.
I'd say that I mean, the business is kind of our life right now, isn't it? It's like at the forefront. We've just bought a house. That was our massive goal. So everything else is kind of personal, but in terms of kids and that, don't want them.
Oh yeah, anyway.
A wee ring would be nice.
If you could cut that out, Paul.
Sorry, can I take that back? Big ring.
A big ring, aye. If you could give advice to any girl starting a fitness journey, what would it be? So
I could be here all day, but I'm actually just going to keep it short and sweet, and it's just enjoy it. Don't do it for all the wrong reasons of you think you should be doing it. Don't get into weight training because you think everybody's doing it, because everybody is doing it now, and a lot of people do it for the wrong reasons and don't stick to it because of that.
And don't do it well.
And see if you're not having fun and you don't actually buzz off coming in and getting a PB and a deadlift or whatever type of training it is that you do, I don't know, CrossFit, whatever. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it. Don't force yourself to do it just because it looks good on Instagram. Yep, perfect. Let's just get some good ones here. What's your favourite to train? What's your and Chrissy's favourite to train? I think my new favourite is quads. Gun to your head, what's your favourite to train? Shoulders. Right. Shoulders and arms. You could group that together. I know yours is like definitely back. Definitely cool. Back. Aye, because you can get some cheeky wee biceps in there too, because you're doing some row movements. But definitely back. I love pull-ups, rows, deadlifts. I think that's the shit that most men don't have really developed backs because they
it requires form, it requires the fact that you don't see it in the mirror. So typically the chest is overdeveloped and so is the shoulders. So for me, back, because I think if you see a good back on somebody, you know they're
it's
trained
been
well.
hard work.
Yep, they've put the graft in and they've got themselves educated enough to learn proper form, because it requires a lot of connection as well.
Yep, good technique and stuff.
Yep.
Heavy lifting. I think shoulders, because I see instant pump from shoulders and biceps.
Aye.
Don't quite get that from legs.
Aye.
Or
And I think
push
sometimes with shoulders, I just feel the way your physique's set up, if you're set up quite narrow, then no matter what you do to your shoulders, it's tough. It's tough. So, and my shoulders are quite thick, but I'm definitely narrow, so I don't have that big surfer wide shoulders, wee waist kind of thing. So I think you edge towards what your strengths are.
Oh, you 100% do, aye. I've got quite skinny arms, so they look muscly anyway.
Aye.
Like, I didn't train for months and I still look pure lean.
Nobody likes bashing out calves, like, just because they like it. Like,
No.
you just don't.
Is that why you don't train them? Or?
I don't train them because I read an article once saying it was bad for you. So I don't do it. I'm kidding. No, it's just we don't have the
calf
machines in
machine.
here for it. Aye.
We have nothing that you can train calves in here.
No, can't do calf raising. No stairs or anything. What would you say is your most preferred style of encouragement?
Definitely like tracking progress with clients in terms of tracking their weights, coming in and seeing them lift heavy, getting them to come in and go for a PB, that excitement, like that's the sort of stuff that I love. So I think I'm part of that well onto my clients as well. And I love when you get new clients that come in and they've never really trained like that. They've just went to a gym and stayed in a wee corner. They've just sat in machines.
Empowering them.
Aye, I love giving them that strength and making them believe that they can lift heavy. It's not always about coming in and having to get a PB or having to beat what you've done last week. So that's not always going to happen. But I love that. I love seeing clients get that absolute buzz when they were shoulder pressing the 8s last week and it felt horrific, and they came in and do it again and it felt great.
Aye.
And you can see that excitement in their face, and I love, that's my absolute passion as well. I just love that feeling, so I love seeing other people get that.
Aye.
So I think seeing unless you go to a gym and you weight train, see trying to explain that feeling to people, or that buzz, or why you get so addicted to the gym, or why you get so addicted to weightlifting, people don't get it until they actually experience that for themselves. It's so hard to describe. So seeing clients eventually get that, it's like it just clicks and they go, right, okay, this is what it's all about.
Aye.
I love that feeling.
You're right, it's their face, it's the text message after it, and you see it time and time again, but you just can't explain it.
Right.
There's no video that will do it justice.
Right.
They need to be there in the moment and witness it. Like, we all talk about fat loss, we talk about muscle gain, but when you unlock somebody's potential, and it sounds cheesy, but it's true, because they've hit out with the famous words, didn't they? I'll never lift that. And then
Aye. Oh, I could never do
you
that.
literally, I'll bet money, if you come in next week and the week after and the week after, you will lift it.
Aye.
Especially newbies, man. Always jealous. Always jealous of newbies.
Aye, it is newbies in tech. Their weights will increase quite quick.
Rapid. And they'll build muscle and lose fat quite quick.
Aye. You're stuck in the same weight for the last year.
Aye.
But you can tell, you can see their face, you can see them buzzing about getting an extra rep or whatever on a certain exercise, and it's like you've said, they usually do go away and come back, like you'll look at your phone an hour later and they've sent you a text.
Aye.
And they're so buzzing about it. The next session they come in, they're still buzzing.
Aye.
I
Because
love that.
I think we, especially me, for 5.5 years later, like constantly training people, and you kind of get caught up in the day-to-day that you lose sight of, oh fuck, actually that buzz that people get. Do you know what I mean? Especially if when I was a one-to-one service, I retained a lot of the same clients. Then eventually you kind of attract a certain type of clientele, usually people who are moderate, needing that accountability, but they're quite advanced as well with some lifts. So I think what we've found with the gym is we've got people in because typically people who are beginners need one-to-one, or they need coaching in person. So we found a few people come through the door who might not typically have signed up with me as an individual, but they've signed up with you and they've signed up because of the gym. And you've seen that again. I forgot about that unlocked potential thing, and that, and it's especially good because in a group setting where someone else is driving you forward, and it's, you know, that kind of high five stuff as well. So it's been good to see that again for me for like the first year or two of PT. Do you know what I mean? Who's stronger, you or Chris? Remember, you're the boss hen.
Oh, I know I'm the boss hen, don't you worry. I absolutely don't need to be told that. It's a difficult question, you can't really compare, so you're not, I mean, of course it's me, but...
No, Cheryl's strong. Cheryl is one of the strongest females I know.
Thanks very much.
Certain lifts that could be doing with work.
Is there?
No, well, it's always the same. Like for me, it's it's like that's what you're working on. For me, overhead press just is just shocking.
So this is the thing. I think we've got, if you look at it logically, I think we've got different strengths. It's obviously, you can't compare who's stronger. You just can't, right? But we definitely have different strengths when it comes to certain lifts and stuff.
Aye. I think that, like for me, when I compare my shoulder press, like barbell strict press, to a bench press, it's pitiful. So I think when you're judging how strong you are as an individual, I mean, you could use your body weight and divide it up and, that's that kind of good stuff. But I always compare my weakest lift with the rest. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's military press versus bench press lying down. So my PB bench is 120 I've done. Couldn't do that now, right enough, because I've not really consistently done it. But my strict press, I would probably struggle with 65, 67 and a half, 70. I mean, I could get one or something. And that's, relatively speaking, pitiful compared to that.
Mm-hmm. You've never spent much time on it though? I think if you did...
I think I've actually always been quite aesthetically happy with my shoulders. So I've always been like, no, they're fine. I mean, I want my side shoulder, but dumbbell shoulder press, I mean...
You hate 120
that, don't you? Barbell press and the 30s I can do for working sets, dumbbell shoulder press. I know guys who can do 50 and they can't get anywhere near me in that bench. So I think that's a good way to look at it. Look at your weakest lift versus your strongest in a similar sense. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to compare dumbbell shoulder press with a deadlift.
Exactly.
But look at it in that sense. Then if you go, right, what's my back squat? Oh, what's my leg press? 300 kilo. Right, well, what's your back squat?
Mm-hmm. That's quite a good one.
That's an interesting one to look at.
Yep.
Or what's some sort of hack squat, like variant? Because whatever's the hardest version of a lift. And for shoulders and that, for me, it's shoulder press. Right, let's get some more here. How did you get clients so quickly after qualifying?
So this is the one that's got a two-parter. I think the second part to that question says, were you planning on working in a commercial gym after your qualification? And yeah, that was the exact plan. So we didn't just sit down one night and decide, right, you do your PT course, then we'll open a gym. That's not how the conversation went at all. It was, you do your PT course, we'll do a bit of online together, you can help me with my current clients. And then when lockdown ends, this was the first lockdown, when lockdown ends, you get a job in the gym, pick up clients that way. That was the plan. So the reason I did get clients so quick is because it didn't pan out like that, which I'm obviously so grateful for, because the thought of getting into a pure gym or whatever, not to just pick them out just because where you worked, but getting into a commercial gym and having to do the Friday, Saturday night shifts, spin classes, 6 o'clock in the morning, all that good stuff, like I'd have done it, because you can almost need to do your time, don't you?
Aye.
And I think you learn a lot there as well. So we've spoke about this a few times. I actually do feel like I missed out on a wee bit of that, like a bit of experience and kind of just picking up basic skills from being about so many like kind of different people and strangers and getting to know how to just approach people like that. I've never experienced that, but don't get me wrong, I'd take our situation any day over that.
Aye.
But that was the plan, was to get into a commercial gym, do the hours I had to do, go on rent, do the classes, pick up clients that way.
Aye.
So yeah, that was the plan.
Aye, I think like one of the biggest things you learn when you go in there is obviously what you've kind of not had was the whole, right, that's me, a self-employed business, here's my name, I'm in a gym, I have to go and talk to people, whatever else. But that's just the way the industry's changed. Like, I did it 5.5 years ago when gyms had 10,000 members. Instagram wasn't as big, like online coaching wasn't as big. So you used to have to go in and there'll be 30 people at your class, and it was a great way of meeting people. But you're not 19. You've had jobs and sales and jobs.
Exactly.
So you've dealt with customer service, and that's going about this all the time, but it's the number one skill when it comes to PT is customer service. It's no client relationship, it's customer service. How you just talk to people when you're delivering a service.
Yep.
That's the most memorable thing you'll ever get. Then you go and tap it and you go, I remember your dog's name, I remember how you felt when we first signed up. All that stuff is the icing on the cake. So you got clients quickly after it, because you started doing a lot of background work for me, and then you were seeing the check-ins. It was a nice process. Like, it wasn't, we did sit and make a plan on the whiteboard, made a good plan, and it's kind of worked out. Like, I'll be honest, we're winging it. We still are winging it, but we're trying our best to just be like, right, this is what we need. Cheryl then started to come on board. If I wanted to do other stuff, Cheryl had to take, for example, when somebody signed up, it was like, right, Cheryl, that's not your client, but give them a message, get used to it. But to be honest, like I don't know if you've just been picking things up. See, when I think back to when I used to do check-ins in the room when you were working from home, and I used to leave voice notes.
Aye.
You must have subconsciously picked all that up, because it's just been a pure smooth transition. I've no sit and said to you, right, if a client says this, Cheryl, say this back. Never had to do that. There's no printout of responses, because it's just came for you being genuine.
Aye.
There's no coaching blueprint. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly. I think it helps that I've trained for a good while before I started this as well, like most PTs. So a lot of the questions or worries, I've been there and done that. Not to say that I'm an expert and I have all the answers. I definitely don't, but I've definitely been in their shoes, especially beginners and stuff. So I've kind of walked in their shoes a wee bit.
Aye, that's it. And then obviously you've seen and I've kind of shown you certain stuff, but so got clients quite quickly because you also did your time in the back end.
Aye, you had a big client base, so I came on board to that.
We got fortunate because I had a decent sized client base, but because the lockdown hit, a lot of people signed up online, so that was then the movement, and we knew that if we drop it below a certain amount of calories, that's because I ever
Still used
say
to saying that.
I know. If we drop a certain amount of clients, then we know that both wages are going to be at risk.
Aye.
So we know we need to keep to a certain level. But let's be honest as well, me solo hit a cap.
Aye.
I couldn't take any, I hit a bottleneck. So in order for me to get more clients, you had to come on board to service them.
See, to be honest, I think it's kind of worked out exactly how we hoped it did. So maybe we were still winging it, but I think we wrote out that thing on the whiteboard at the start. I held my notice in, and it was a wee bit like, is this actually happening? And then the days and weeks just go by, and it seemed it did all fall into place. It really did. It sounds cheesy, but it really just feels like that was just what was meant to happen.
Aye, no, definitely, and it's coming to fruition because we obviously had to open my gym as well. But no, I don't. You're kind of half trying to offer advice with some people at some points, and you're half just going like, I don't really know how it happened. Like, I don't know how we've got a gym here. It's more just keep going, keep doing a good job, keep getting client results, keep talking to people, and eventually, hopefully, it'll work out for you. Do you know what I mean? How do you keep motivated, and what do you do when you feel rubbish?
So, motivation, I'm not always motivated, just like probably 99% of the population. But when I'm motivated and highly motivated and I'm having a really good week, it's probably because I've had a really good week maybe training clients, and they've kind of inspired me a wee bit to maybe do better that week. But generally speaking, motivation, I'm not always motivated at all. I just really want, like, my goals are important to me, so I'll make sure I train, I'll make sure my food's good. So you just really need to want it. You definitely won't be motivated all the time. I'm sure we've heard this a lot, but it's discipline that comes into play here. So
yep.
Yeah.
I know, it's one of those old things, and sometimes you just feel like it's regurgitated and everybody's saying it, and when something's familiar, unfortunately, it sometimes becomes like wallpaper, or it becomes overplayed, but it's just true. It's like discipline is, I think, obviously when we talk about discipline, people typically look at it and go, oh, that's the army. That sounds like you have to wake up and drink fucking 4 raw eggs and that's discipline. It's like, no, it's just doing something, like, Big Paul will probably get into this more chemically than me, but when your mind tells you that you've not to do something, you need to remember the other part of it that tells you why what the outcome is and all that kind of good stuff. So you're right, discipline is always going to be the way, and it also helps to when you enjoy something. Like, you don't have to feel motivated to talk to your clients because you enjoy it, or train. Like, you should get to that point where you just enjoy it, and that's where discipline can be easier.
I think some people think that some people wake up and do this certain routine to get motivated. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
I think some people want to hear that so that they can then go, I'm going to try that routine.
Well, I know, because what answer are they looking for?
I don't know.
Like, if I say to you, how do you always keep motivated? What answer are they actually looking for?
It's because seeing somebody ask you that, you then think back, don't you, over the last few weeks and go, right, if I woke up every day feeling motivated, or how have I felt? I can't really remember waking up one day and feeling extremely motivated to the next day feeling demotivated.
Aye.
I don't, to be honest, I wake up with with the same feelings every day.
Yep.
Like, I don't wake up every day and go, right, I'm so motivated today, or I'm not feeling motivated today, so let me do this wee routine that gets me motivated. I don't know anybody that does that. It's just sheer discipline. Of course, some days you'll wake up in better moods than others, or you feel more ready for the day, or you're more buzzing for that day, or some days you're more sluggish. But in terms of having a set routine or a wee checklist to go, right, that's me, I'm motivated, it just does not exist.
Checklist is in your head.
Aye.
It's in your head when you wake up. What's your purpose? Like when you've got a purpose to your day, you don't need to go down. Like your brain does, obviously goes through the different paths. Oh man, I woke up today. Oh no, I have to go and do this thing at work. And it goes down that path. Whereas you wake up and go, right, my purpose today is I want to get X, Y, Z done so that I can get the benefits of X, Y, Z, or just Z, which is this. Great, right. And then you all of a sudden just wake up a bit better.
Yep.
And you go downstairs and you do this and you do that, and the rest of your actions are carried out by exactly that, by having a purpose. So
I think when it comes to training, a lot of people feel that they need to be motivated to train. And I do think there's a lot of the population, or just a lot of people that they'll train even if they can't be bothered. Like you get that quite a lot, don't you? Like you will just train even, you're like, oh, just better get it done. Not a lot, but you do get that sometimes. And I've never experienced that. I always just absolutely buzz off training. Like I've never ever went, do you know what, I'm going to train today, but I can't be asked, but I'm just going to do it because it will tick the box, which is fine. A lot of people do that and you get it done even if in the days that you don't want to do it, that's discipline. But you know like, how excited I get for every single training session. I still just absolutely love it. Like almost 4.5 years later.
Yep. So I just need to find something that you enjoy, whether that's work, life, whatever. Yep. How's that? Enjoy it?
Are we done? I've got it. Enjoying it? No, that was good. I like the questions.
No, they're good questions. Guys, if you want to know more, obviously just message Cheryl and you'll find out more, because it's quite obvious that a lot of people, when they watch someone's journey, whether it's career, personal life, let's face it, all you guys love watching YouTube vlogs and all that because you like watching people's life, Gogglebox, Big Brother. So create your own life, create your own chapter, like, you know, taking inspiration for people like Cheryl or people who that you can relate to, who has been in a place where you've been authentically, and just take that step. Like nobody's doing something that you don't know, nobody's smarter than you, and nobody's coming up with a mad, like Cheryl said, some sort of morning routine or they're overcoming things. They're just trying their best, but the only way you can get in that position is take that step. So thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, we'll see you back at the house.
See you in 5 minutes, won't I?
See you in 5 minutes, right? Guys, thanks for listening and watching. If you could, please give us a wee share, tag me and Cheryl. That would be massively appreciated. Hope you all stay safe and speak soon.